Hello everyone, today I'll be showing you how to make your V-word model look more unique. Mostly the face for this tutorial. I could do a tutorial on the body another time. I'm not really that good with that, but I'll try my best. Oh, I'm still waving. Before we start, I just want to say a few things. You could be really good with drawing. You can have all the artistic skill in the world, but I feel like it makes your life so much easier if you have a reference. If you have something to look at and say, oh, I want my model to look like that. If you have an idea in mind about what you want your model to look like, it'll make your process making models much more easier, much more quicker, and much more consistent because differing art styles can affect how your model looks overall. This is not really applicable to this video because we're just going to be doing the face, but I'm just letting you know now, if you have a reference, say you have an OC of yours or something like that you can work with, it'll make your time making models much more quicker, much more faster. If you have a theme in mind, a color scheme in mind, like how I have my model mostly purple looking, it makes everything much more quicker, much more easier, and more consistent. Mostly have a color scheme in mind because I didn't know what I wanted for my model. I just knew what colors I liked. It was purple, white, black, and that's what I basically am, as you can see. I'm gonna recommend a site called Colors, I don't know how to say it, but it's basically a site that randomly generates colors that work together, and it will be very helpful to you if you have no idea what you want or no idea what you want your model to be. So in the future, you're like, hey, I already had these colors in mind. How do I make this model look like that kind of thing, you know? So I'm gonna put it down in the description below, but this was just a little disclaimer. This is not really necessary, but I think it helps a lot if you know what exactly you want before you actually try to make your model look nice. Here we have our model. I just made a new one in Vroid real quick. First things I would do is ignore everything and book it straight for the look section. And we're gonna go ahead and mess around with these settings real quick before we start anything else. So the outline for this tutorial, it'll mostly be a tutorial on how to make your model stand out as if it was like a live 2D kind of model. If you're going for a more realistic model, this tutorial is not for you. I'm sorry, I'm not really sure. I can to an extent. I'll put pictures up of past models I've done that are more realistic, quote unquote, but they still look cute. They're not really realistic. What I usually do for my models is I go to this and I mess around with all the settings here on the left side. So we're gonna go for a more toony, cartoony, live 2D look, aka my model is 3D even though it looks 2D type thing. I recommend having all of these up if you want that. Rim lighting, aka this shiny thing right here, I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off because it's bothering me. And also some tracking softwares that have your viewer model ready for streaming adds an extra light as well, so you don't want those lights conflicting with each other. It makes it look very weird. The shading, aka this right here, the shading that's right here, I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. Why? The shading is too realistic for my liking, and if you turn it off like that, like turning this down, the shading area, it allows you to control where you want the shadows to be on your model, so you have to draw the shadows on yourself, if that makes sense. That's basically what I do. Now we can actually start editing the model. So the first tip that I would generally recommend is editing the model, not leaving anything default if you can. So that makes it more unique and not V-word-esque, so to speak. So what I mean by that is coming over to the body up here, and we're gonna go ahead and edit anything that can be edited that you would like to be edited. So what I usually do is the head size, make it smaller. The head is very wide by default. I never noticed until someone pointed out that the head of my models was very wide, but once I used parameter right here, you can clearly see that yes, they are very wide by default. So just go ahead and make them a little bit thinner. They don't need to be this wide, and just go through the list of parameters right here and see what you like and just edit it. So I'm just gonna do that right now. And now that we're done with that, we have our model. Don't cancel me, but I have to take her clothes off real quick so I can actually see what we're working with. And what I'm gonna do is now I'm going to edit her skin color because I would actually like my model to be darker. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Let's do the face first, actually. So we're gonna come over to the face tab right here, and we're gonna go all the way to the skin. There are presets for every section. Like the iris, the eyebrows, everything. There's a preset for it. I'm not gonna use a preset, so we're gonna go ahead and press edit texture right here on the right where it was there. But now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make our model darker. Let's make her a bit darker. Make her a bit warmer. She's looking a bit ashy. Make sure to use the mirror tool if you can. And by the way, there's this option called color calibration, and what it does is it edits your color. See how I turn it on and it changed the color to the color that's here. So make sure to turn that off. It is helpful in some cases, but usually if you're making your own texture, it's very hindering because it will edit the texture. Just make sure that it's off so that you don't like mess up anything by accident. Now that we have that, we have a little issue. Her facial features aren't matching her face. But before we do that, let's color her body real quick. We're gonna go over to the body section right here, edit texture, new layer, or you can just color the default layer, it doesn't really matter. Paste the color that we copied from earlier and color it all the way. All right, now that we have that, she's one solid color, we need to fix her face. So we're gonna go ahead and remove her blush for now on the cheeks, and we're gonna remove her eyelids as well because it's not the color that's suited for her right now. We're gonna focus for now on her eyes real quick. So go to the eye sets right here. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make her eyes bigger. So we're gonna make it wider and taller. By the way, you are not limited by this parameter, even though it says 1, aka the fullest extent of like editing you can do for that movement. You can type it in yourself. You don't have to like follow what it says. It will kind of break it, as you can see this little bit of white peeking out right there, but it's fine because it'll usually be hidden by the hair of your model if your model doesn't have her hair up. If it does, I'm so sorry, you might not be able to do this, but the thing that I said before about making sure that you don't use default parameters if possible also applies to this as well, because even though she looks unique now, you can make her even more unique by editing her facial structures. Anything that's here that's listed, you can edit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna edit her a little bit more to make her more unique. So now we can actually start making the face look more unique. So first thing I would do, I would head over to the eyeliner tab, go to edit texture, and make your own texture. Don't be scared to make your own textures because it's usually more beneficial than using the default ones, because you want to make your viewer look more unique. You don't want it to look like every other viewer out there. And we're just gonna draw her eyelash or eyeline for now. Using the mirror tool, don't forget that. And just color in her eyes, or eyeline, excuse me. Say you're not satisfied with where the eyeline actually ends. So you're not limited in Vroid Studio. You can just like use your imagination and kind of work around some stuff. So say you have an avatar that supposedly doesn't have their eyeline that stops right here. It like has the inner corner right here. So you can go to the skin tab and actually like kind of fake it. That's what I do for my models. Instead of limiting yourself to where the eyeline allows you to draw, you can just go ahead and fake your own eyeline on the actual skin itself, like that. I can leave it like that. And as you can see, it looks like her eyeliner is a little bit longer than usual. That's how I fake my eyeliner to look more longer on my models. I just draw on the skin instead. now that we have the base eye line down, very messy, but still pretty good, then we can go ahead and add fake eyelashes. So the next thing I would do is I would actually change the inner eye to make it darker to match with the darker skin complexion. Actually do the iris, so the color calibration is on again, so we're going to turn that off before we start. See how it affected the whole eye to be a different color. We do not want that. So go ahead, turn that off, turn off the layer, make a new layer, use the same color that you used for the eyeline, and just make an iris real quick. I also recommend turning off, before you do that, turn off the eye highlights. As you can see, there are dots, like that's the highlights of the eye, so just turn that off as well so you don't get distracted. And now she looks okay, I think. I'm gonna make her eyes green. So I'm gonna get a nice pale green color and color it. That the reason why I did the background the same color as the eyeline is to like make a kind of an outliney effect. I'm gonna make the bottom half brighter and warmer. Now the top half, a cooler green, kind of bluish at that point. Now take the color of the outline that you did, just do like that. And we're getting closer, we're getting there. So now what we need to do is what I usually do, make another layer, use the same color outline and just like use this brush and do this. You don't have to do this, it's totally optional. And now we have that. And just to be extra, you can add like little marks on the lower part of the eye. Super optional, you do not have to do this. And if you like, you can kind of like make it the illusion of it being broken off. Give it some flair. Like that. But let's use a blue and we're gonna fill in the pupil real quick. Now we're gonna turn down the layer, just like that. Now we're gonna go ahead and go for a lighter side, like find a lighter color that works with the green and just color in the top. Make a very clear line, it will be important later, and then just lower the opacity of the layer. And then if you want to be super duper extra, final step, just get a bright green color and just that. And then clean up the edges. And there you go. You have your base iris. Now we can add the eye highlights. I'm going to go ahead and use purple because it's the opposite of green. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the airbrush, do a little circle right here, like maybe on the top. And then I'm going to get an actual white, brush opacity all the way. Just color it in. That's how you make eye highlights like stand out, by having like a shadow before it. Final thing, I will go back to the eye whites, make another part of it. If you can, try to match the background of the eye white with the color. So since it's green, I'm going to use like a little bit of green in it, make it darker, and just fill it in like that. Try to go along with the line that we made. If you want to be super duper extra, you can add like a little red strip right underneath the darker green of the eye whites, and just like that. And there you go, you have an iris. So now we're done with the iris, we're done with the eye whites. So now we're gonna move on to the eyeline once more. I usually wait till I'm done with the iris so that I have a better understanding of what colors I need to be using. So we're gonna take the color that's closest to the eyeline, which would be the blue right here. And we're gonna go all the way up with it. And we're going to fill in kind of the eyeline. So let me move in a little bit closer. Cut it off a bit shorter so that you can just add lines instead. Like that. And then lower the opacity. And now you have like a shadow effect, which is kind of nice. And you can add one more color, like a lighter color on top of that. Just go ahead and make a little thingy right here. Just fill in a little bit. Lower down the opacity. And there you go. Now you can go ahead and add any shapes that you like. I'm just gonna add squares because that's what I usually do. Different colors is fine. And then just fill in a square. And one final extra thing. I know I keep saying extra this, extra that, but like I'm just teaching you all like little cool tricks you could do. You can actually add a fake eyelash on the eyeline texture. And just fill it in according to the closest thing touching the eyeline. Just use that color and fill it in. And we can go over here. And then we can do the same for the bottom lashes as well. The reason why I pulled out the eyeline was so that I can do this. I can connect a fake eyelash to my real eyelash, giving it a nice 3D effect. So now that we're done with the eyes, we're completely done. I promise we're totally done. Now we can go ahead and actually edit the skin some more. So I'm gonna give her a little bit of an eye bag, just a little bit. And then we can delete her eyebrows and make new ones for ourselves. What I usually do with those as well is I take a corresponding color. So we have a green theme going on. So I would shade the inner corner of her eyebrows green, just a little bit, and then erase the parts that aren't touching anything. And turn it down just a bit, just a tiny bit. And then what else? What else? The blush. Where is it? Cheeks. Custom. Create new. Hide it. New layer. Make our own blush. Okay. For the nose, we're just gonna go ahead and... Oh, it's already done. The nose is fine. Just draw a line where the nose is, or just use the color calibration right here. So the final thing will be the mouth. So for the mouth, we need to make sure that it is viewable at any mouth movement or angle. So we need to make sure that you can see it by adding an actual black border or something. Any kind of border is fine as long as it's very bold and very visible. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna make her mouth neutral. And that's not neutral enough. As you can still see, she's smiling still. I don't really count that as neutral. So what I'm going to do is turn off the neutral that is using for this pose right here in mouth fem. Turn it down, go to mouth inside and use that one instead. And then we're gonna go back to the mouth and go to edit texture. And we're gonna fill in her mouth to be dark so that you can actually see the border. We can give her lipstick or just basic lips. I'll give her basic lips really quick. The last thing will be her eyelids, because we did take that off in the beginning as well, and I'm realizing that she has none. So let's go ahead and make a new one. Okay, so now we have our model. She's looking good. She's looking great. Now we just need to add the last thing, shading. So for the shading, my general rule of thumb for that would be always use a shade that is a bit warmer than the actual skin color to make it pop. and not look mute and dry. So what I mean is, let's take her skin color and let's just go down. Let's not add any color and just go down. We have to go to her body. I'm gonna add a neck shade to show you what I mean. Skin color, pull it down, and just shade it like that. And as you can see, yes, it is a shade, but does it look nice? Not really. So what I mean by adding warmth is like trying to go closer to red, a little bit closer, to give it a more warm color. Like that. See how it doesn't mute the skin color? So you want it to look, you want this shade to complement the color. Usually using warm colors is better for shading than using a cool one unless you're going for a specific color palette. So let me just finish coloring her neck. Let's go to the face, edit the texture on the skin, and we're gonna make a little jaw, like a jawline, by adding a shadow. And now you have a toony looking model. You can add even more, like for example, her ears, you can just do a quick outline of her ear. Just take the shade color and just color it in a little bit. This is mostly a tutorial for the face, so there's not much to it. It's very quick, but there are some helpful tips that I hope I mentioned in the video. But other than that, yeah, that's basically how I make my models. Except for the nose. Of course, the nose is different, but everything else is basically the same. That's basically what I did. And using references, heavy on using references. Please use a reference if you have one. It makes your experience way more faster and easier. If this was helpful, please subscribe and leave a like or leave a comment. I'll try to answer any questions that I can. If I don't answer it, don't worry, it's not malicious. I probably just don't know the answer. My name is Sly, and I thank you for watching. Bye bye.